I'm trying to think. No.
Maricopa is like close to Casa Grande.
Okay.
So you have to. There's like one highway that leads there into Phoenix, and a whole bunch of people ended up moving out there. People even moved to Casa Grande, and of course, very far west, like Buckeye.
Right. I mean, and they weren't areas you ever thought would develop, but they were cheaper to get homes. And you had companies like Richmond American and America West Homes that went out in these big developments. We had it in Vegas. I mean, it goes all the way up.
We're very, very similar.
Mount Charleston is, it's very similar. And you think, who the hell would live all the way up there? And the ingress and egress into the city is so far. But it's funny in a way, because I'm thinking what Adams is saying, that became the development, and then it turned into the gentrifying and going back to the older areas that got run down and redoing those areas.
Because people had different attitudes towards leisure. Now you wanted to go into platted neighborhoods, to go to gastropubs, and to go to other freaking places that you don't belong in. Go, keep that on the other side of town. Allow those neighborhoods to develop on their own, and stop putting a bunch of hipster establishments to drive up the cost of food and everything else around it just because you want to go out there on a Saturday night with your girlfriend. Like, I mean, this is how we got here. There were different attitudes towards here. There were different attitudes towards leisure and the proximity of leisure towards development. When you started blending the two is where you started creating pockets. You started creating pockets of things to do and people that wanted to work in those places that became unaffordable.
That's not true.
Well, I would say,
I mean,
like,
your situation that you have in Los Angeles is multi-millionaires.
We're not talking about Los Angeles.
Hold on.
We're talking about California.
Okay,
I'm talking about California.
Oh my God.
One at a time. One at a time.
So when it comes to
what I was going to say.
One at a time, and then I wanted to hear David's take on this, because where he has also developed.
But like where we live, Abby, so Vegas and Phoenix, I think we would always go back and forth for which was the fastest growing city in the country. And so our experience, I think, is actually a lot different from most of the country, just because we have, for decades, we've been amongst the fastest growing cities, and there's only so many places you can build. It's my understanding that the housing affordability for young people is a lot worse now than it was for previous generations, like a whole lot worse. And I get it. There's some people who think they're entitled to live, I mean, in really nice areas and in a nice loft, or, which will cost a fortune in Manhattan or wherever.